It's that time. Feels like it's been a long time. Feels like it's been, I don't know. Feels like it's been like a month. It's honestly been, it's been like a week. Feels like a month. Well, where to start tonight? That is a big question. First of all, hi guys. It's good to see you. Again, got a new monitor to the right of me. Oh, so that's what I'm looking at. Tonight's gonna be like therapy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had a lot on my mind, and this is just how it's been for all of us, guys. Like we've been doing this for a while. It's good to see you guys. Look over here. It's good to see you guys. Hope you guys are having a good Friday night. It's good to see you. Good to see you. So I'm doing all right. I hope you're doing good. Allie, through the screen? I gave it to you through the screen. I feel bad. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have watched. I shouldn't have come on sick, guys. I passed it around right through the mic. Probably breathed it right in. I'm sorry. Oh, Garrett comes in here talking all that garbage. Well, I wasn't going to say anything about the haircut. It's a skin fade. I didn't say anything. Garrett brought it up, not me. I didn't say anything. Hey, woo-wee. No, I don't pull out the monies. Gary, you got me talking stupid over here. So let me pay attention, okay? Hold on. He's a disruptor for me, okay? He's disrupted me over here. He's getting me off my game here. It's good to see you guys. Sending love and prayers. Thank you, Michelle. Caught alive. I'm glad you're here. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a hard night. And the only reason I say that is because 9 months ago, we went to Chad's trial. And I bring that up because that's when a lot of things changed for me personally. We've had a channel for years. Kelsey and I started a channel in 2017. And this is the channel I think we started, one of them, right? And I bring that up because over the years, I wanted to post things about having fun. I wanted to, at that time, like, I was in a good place personally. I had my family around. Like, it just wasn't as hard, obviously. A lot of things have changed. And I bring that up because this has been on my mind. You know, we just talked about Sherry, Frankie. We were talking about Ruby. And for some reason, looking at someone else's situation that's somehow similar somehow made me reflect on like where I'm at, because I really feel for them. I feel like I really, really looked at it from a different perspective, if that makes sense. And sorry, hold on. I gotta read this because now it's out of mind. Brings out your eyes, holy moly, that smile just gave that look like your baby sister. Yeah, you know what's so funny? I feel like I now can really see it. When we were growing up, I didn't feel like we looked alike, and now I'm like, our smiles, all that stuff is crazy. Tylee and I really do look like, which is wild. But yeah, I think the hard question I asked myself is like, after the trial, it was the first time I was willing to open up the book, talk about this stuff, right? This is not an easy subject. This is not something I ever saw myself doing. Okay. This is completely left field. I never thought I'd talk about really what happened in my life. I thought maybe, when I wrote the book, I thought maybe that I could get it out that way. Like, I knew I'd vent it at some point, but I never felt like I would conversate about my feelings about my mom, my feelings about my family. And I don't know. I think the hardest part about all was after the trial, I started I didn't realize I did this, but I started becoming more analytical. And I realized that I guess a part of me wanted somehow to search for answers. And you guys have seen this part of my life where I'm like curious, I guess, because like I told you guys before, I really I was not paying attention to a lot of what was going on. Like I didn't watch the trials. Excuse me. I didn't participate in it. It was too hard. It was too emotional. And after going to Idaho, going to see Chad in person, and then having it kind of conclude for my siblings at least, a part of me just started venturing into like, okay, what really was going on? And then I think a part of me just like, I told you guys honestly, I finally felt something for my mom. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was empathy or if I was finally just allowing my feelings to come to the surface because at that point, like she was such an afterthought, right? Like there's too much loss in front of losing her that she wasn't like in my mind, she was swept off the map. Like I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna grieve her. I'm never gonna feel um anything for her. That's just what I thought, right? What's really interesting is after starting to dive into a lot of this in therapy, um, a lot has come up for me, and I think the question I was looking for, no, I'm sorry, not the question. The answer I was looking for was to these questions of, well, how could the mom I was around my whole life veer off? How could this possibly be it? And then I'm thinking, is it Is it was the church a part of this? Like, was it because she believed in the church and then she veered from the church's beliefs, which is LDS church is what I'm talking about. Did she veer from LDS beliefs to a whole nother region? Was it, that book, that stupid book we were talking about last time, which is was it not Blades of Glory? The frick, that's the movie with Napoleon Dynamite. What's the movie? What's it called? That's how irrelevant it is in my brain. It's the Glory, Visions of Glory. Sorry, excuse me. Right. So I'm like thinking in my head all these things, and then after we talked about Sherry and her book and her situation and her going through everything that she was going through in life, the I don't know, just a part of me finally realized like I have been doing this thing for 9 months, where I've tried to break things down for myself. Um, I've tried to break things down. I've tried to analyze what I could. I've tried to emotionally process all of this. And I didn't realize that behind all of the grief, all the pain, all the worry, all the things that were going on in my life was one person standing there. So I think what really changed my mentality was starting to dive back, starting to realize what my life was like as a kid. We just did a video not too long ago about that. And I feel like that was one of the first times I really just opened my entire brain out to like, whoa, like maybe this was way different than what I remember. So then it's like now you're digging back and back and back. So the point that I'm getting to is I finally realized from the beginning that I just did not have the parent that I thought I did, or maybe that I even wanted and desired. And that's an empty feeling because how do you process the fact that the person who's like biologically trained to love you was not there for you? And then you realize, what did that cause in me? What kind of life have I formulated based off of the things that I've processed with her, and on and on and on. Yeah. Um, and I think that that's finally when I came to the conclusion, and what this video is all about is I can finally let her go. And I don't mean like forgiving. I don't just mean like, oh, this is gonna get heavy. I'm already telling you right now because it's just real. Um, it's gonna get real. I told you guys. I'm finally ready to just finally let her go realize that I'm never gonna find the answers that I want, no matter how much research I do, how much I want to figure her out somehow. Maybe like a part of me thinks that maybe if I understood where she was coming from, that I could fix it, that I could change something. I don't know. I don't know. My brain just is. I had to finally get to a point though, realizing I have allowed this situation in my life to run and dictate years of my life. I remember one of the weirdest moments, honestly, was when I turned 27. Okay, I'm 28 right now. When I turned 27, I remember it was like that day, as like I woke up and thought, there's no way I'm turning 27 because I feel like I should be turning maybe 24, 25. And I realized that all that trauma happened at 23. And I realized that like a part of myself didn't even believe that all those years had passed because it was like waking up from a coma. Like, whoa, I'm 27. Like, hold on, slow down. Like, what happened to all these years? I remember that moment being such a big deal that day on my birthday, in which I'm not the biggest birthday person. Like, I don't really care about doing big celebrations and stuff like that. But I just remember that overwhelming feeling of like, whoa, like, how did all these years pass? You know? And I think that this all concludes to one big thing. As hard as it is to feel, understand, come to this place, my mom had her good qualities. She did what she did. She took care of us when she did, and she tried to make things fun. Um, she tried to, you know, make life easier. She got us things that we wanted. Really that was kind of the main thing that we had. Like my life growing up really was more about just like getting materialistic things like shoes or whatever cool thing I thought was cool. It's kind of like the love language you want to call it. Um, but at the end of the day, I finally came to the understanding and realization that I didn't have the parent that I desired or that I had fabricated in my own mind. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that, right? It can't dictate the rest of my life. It can't. And that's the thing. I'm sharing this with you because I don't know if you guys have gone through this too, but like your parents do really shape you. But what happens when you realize you didn't have the parent you deserved? You didn't have the parent that you thought you did. Yeah, they had their good qualities. You had your good moments, but you didn't get what you needed on a regular basis. You didn't get the love you needed. You didn't get you didn't get the protection you needed. You didn't get the safety you needed. You didn't get the validation you needed, and you had to be everything else for them, right? Like I was the post. I had to be the strong kid. I had to be the one to emotionally be steady and try to keep myself at a certain level so that way I could perform. Why must I perform? Oh man, I'm sorry. Sometimes you just gotta laugh because this is getting really freaking heavy, way more than I thought. Um, I share this with you. Why? Why am I sharing this with you? Um, because this happens a lot of times with us in our relationships. We try to be something more. We try to become something more. And your parent really does have the ability to either say, I want to be just like my parent. They did this well, they did this well, and I'm going to emulate that. That's a good thing. I admire that. I respect that. On and on. And then you have the parts where you say, hey, I want to be the polar opposite. I'm going to 180 from my situation. My parent was not the parent that I want to emulate. My parent did this and this and this, and I can see that now. And now I can move on. Now, I told you guys a, a few different times throughout our lives that I have felt like I lost my mom alongside. Like it just, It's almost like an extra death in my family. But I'm watching her on TV. I'm watching her be her own lawyer. I'm watching her literally be the worst version of herself. And I'm watching her implode publicly, right? Because it's been a lot of years. It's been a long time of this coming around. Um, and I'm watching, and a part of it is a little bit painful, but I finally realized like she's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility. And I took an unnecessary responsibility thinking that I had to fix everything that she broke. I felt like I was even apologetic for her actions because it's like I felt like I needed to apologize because it's my mom. It's not my fault. It's not like I did it, you know? But I just unpack all this because this is what we've been doing. We've been doing kind of like therapy. And you know, I can finally I can let it go. And I'm telling you now that I am letting it go. Um yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to move forward. It doesn't mean that we might not ever talk about it again ever. She's been a very since I realized looking at it from an outside perspective now, seeing that we've been talking about she's been a very forefront thing that we've had conversations about. And I realized that I have been processing through this with you guys, which honestly, I can never thank you guys enough for being a part of this because this has been huge. Like having your guys' support, seeing you guys relate has been huge for me. I don't feel so alone because I did. I felt so alone for years. Just like you could never, it's like no one could ever understand this. No one could ever relate to anything I'm saying. Like there's no, it's just lonely. Okay. I was living in a graveyard. It was horrible. Um, but I say that because I realized, we have had a lot of conversations about her. And I finally feel like I realized there's really a choice going forward. And I feel like what I choose is to finally just stop letting her have a hold on me. It's been years. Um, and she has just dominated my life in every way. I can never put it into context for you guys. I'm not trying to be a victim here at all. Just telling you guys, I could never explain to you how much it affected everybody's life, but mine specifically as well in every way. Um, but I'm here just hopefully as an encouragement to you that if you're in a situation like that as well, that you know you don't have to torture yourself with this. That's not your responsibility to fix everything. And it's okay to feel that you never got what you should have had. You should have had a better life. You should have had a parent that you could go to and lean on. You deserved it. You deserve to have a relationship where you can lean on that person and say, I'm having the hardest day of my life. And that person looks right at you and says, I got you. I'm here. It's not going to be, you're not alone. Sometimes that's all you need. But this is just years and years and years of processing, but really like for me, accelerated processing in 9 months, you know, and we've done it together. Obviously I do my therapy, but we've talked a lot about what I talk about with her, with you, my therapist. A lot of what comes up is these thoughts for me. This is what's progressing me to a better place and understanding is it's okay to finally just accept the fact that it wasn't what I wanted it to be It's okay to finally accept that, yeah, this is unfair. This is so unfair. Everything that has happened is so unbelievably unfair to all of my family members, first of all, and then to all of us who love them. It's unfair. And guess what? It doesn't change though. People say certain things. Well, what if this and this is like, I'm not here to play, you know, what ifs. This isn't Marvel what ifs. Like I'm not living in that realm. It's not a what if situation. You know, I did that for years too. Well, what if I would have been this? And what if I would have just had a conversation and sat down with my mom and maybe she would have told me more and I could have heard more. I could have said more. I could have done more. I could have done this. It's torture. Exactly. But what happens when the one person you're trying to finally just let go of is like in the news, doing the same thing, causing more pain. I think what I finally realized is like it is a choice to really how you react to things is a choice. I never felt like it was a choice. I'm an emotional person. I can react very quickly. I can react very emotionally and get very overwhelmed very easily. But it really at the end of the day, it's a choice of how you actually end up responding. So this all ties back into forgiving and moving forward. And again, I bring this up because after really thinking about like I was gonna read Sherry's book, I wanted to share my perspective on that. And like just the thought process of like thinking about where they're at in their process with their mom, they have to eventually get to a point wherever they land. I just pray that they get to a point of freedom. It doesn't matter how long it takes them. I would love it to be quickly. I hope that they heal and every single one of them lives the best life possible. They deserve that. But this is what made my mind come to this point of I really hope that you guys, if you're having this situation as well, realizing that one person does not dictate who you are, right? She doesn't get to dictate who I am for the rest of my life. She doesn't get to dictate who Tylee was. She doesn't get to dictate who JJ was. She doesn't get to dictate who Charles was. She doesn't get to dictate, and they don't get to dictate who Tammy was. And then what we're left to do is honor the people that are gone and keep it moving because we still have life to live. And again, that's the big example I gave you. That day on my birthday, I feel like I had missed years, and I did. I have a great memory. Okay. I swear there's so much time where I just think I was so emotionally turned off that I just can't remember a lot of that time because there was just too much pain and like it just dictated everything. Now I can't change that, right? I can't change that. I can't go back and fix things. I can't go back and try to be like, oh, I wish I was better. I kill myself with that stuff. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, and it's a waste of your time. Trying to go back and live in your regrets and live in all this stuff, it's total BS and it's a waste of your life and time. You can't change all your stuff. You just got to like figure out what is my next move. So, what's the next move? We got to heal. Keep healing, keep going forward. Help other people tell their stories and keep it moving. I bring that up because honestly, how much have we really have talked about this situation a lot. And I get that. And I appreciate you guys being a part of this journey. This isn't an easy thing to bring this stuff up to, but I just think that this is how I'm processing this. And at the end of the day, I knew a certain point would come where I'd say, I can't live in this realm anymore. And I finally feel ready to just let her completely go, move forward, and live a life that is just separate in a sense, right? Because it's been so intermeshed. It's time to move forward. Mary, you're one of the people on the list that's asked me that question. I actually have thought about that. I would love, as you know, my biggest passion, why we have our channel, why we talk, is I love more than anything sharing things that I've learned, and I pray on everything it helps anybody. Anybody. I really pray that, you know? And again, like, even part of me was so hesitant to talk about my mom too, because I'm like, look, I'm not a perfect person. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm some perfect, amazing human being. But at the end of the day, the lessons that I've learned from this pain have flipped into, like, the pain has now finally, it's starting to become lessons. It's starting to make sense. It's starting to be more in a perspective rather than pain. And what can I do with that perspective is share it. Share it with you guys in hopes that it helps any of you guys in any capacity, at no matter where you are in your life, that you continue to go forward. I really pray that. But again, it gives me more hope in feeling. Hold on, Tammy said this. No, not at all. Not at all. Hurt people hurt people. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you're hurt, you don't have to hurt other people. It's a choice. So you can live a better life. If you punch me in the face, why would I go punch the guy to my left in the face? We're gonna start a punch train. I don't know. Yes, you will learn so much from this, things you would never have known otherwise. And, that's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm so grateful that this happened, because that's just not true. What I am grateful for is that God has helped me through it. I've had people around me that have contributed and helped me through it. And I am where I am now because of all of this stuff. I've learned the lessons I've learned, and that's what I'm grateful for, is that pain is now becoming lessons. Pain is now starting to be perspective. It's starting to be a place where I can understand things rather than just sit there and just wither away. You know what I mean? I hope you find peace and relief as these last two trials come to an end, and also find your complete freedom to heal in your own pace. Wishing you all good things, Colby and family. Thank you. That was very sweet of you to say that. Very sweet of you to say that. But again, I remember thinking, like, when the trials were going to start, which they haven't even started yet. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, if this is going to be completely counterproductive, we don't have to talk. I don't want to do it. I don't want to keep hurting myself, honestly. Like, it's finally time for me to say that. Like, I don't want to put myself in a position where it's just like pain, pain, pain. And I think when it comes to her, I finally came to the realization for myself. Okay. And maybe this is anticlimactic, but there is no ending place here. There's never going to be the reconciliation and a sit down and a conversation and saying, her saying, "Hey, Colby, I was wrong, and all these things, and this is what happened." And like, even if that did happen, I can't wait for that moment. I'm not going to hold my breath for that moment. And if I'm waiting for someone to come to me and say, "I'm so sorry," that's the basis of my healing. I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to receive an apology. And I don't even necessarily feel entitled to an apology, but even a conversation. The last effort I felt like I had to give was to interview her. That's it. That was like my absolute last attempt to even try. And nothing came out of it. You saw what happened. I don't even have to explain it. Nothing good came from that conversation. The one actually, you know what? I lied. The one good thing that came from that conversation is I could finally put it to bed and say, "Hey, this conversation shows me exactly what I need to know about where you're at, and I never have to wonder if there's something more else I could do or say or." And I think this came from a childhood wound trying to be like, I wanna be enough and good enough for you to be able to, like, get better. Like, maybe I'm going to, like, help you. I just wanted to, like it and it's just it's not realistic. It's not realistic. So, why would I sit here and wait and wait and wait for an apology? And people have asked me that, you know, "Do you want her to apologize? Do you feel like you deserve an apology?" The answer is no. I don't want her to apologize, unless she wanted to. And even if she did, it would kinda just be like, "Okay, like, thank you for at least acknowledging this." But when we had that conversation, the conversation back to me was, "Well, your sister did it, and I'm just here trying to protect her name." So I could hang my hat there and say, "Okay, there's nothing left here. Nothing." And, you know, I have a hard time giving up on anything really, like, when it comes to somebody, I wanna believe that there's always redemption, and I still believe that she can have redemption because God can do anything. Um, but, you know, it's not like my whole life needs to hinder on, "Oh, is she gonna come back from the dark side?" Like, can I do it? Can I fix it? I'm not Luke. This ain't Star Wars, like, it's not a fantasy, this is real life, and at the end of the day, this is what the cards are, and that's what it is. I, I can't change what's happened, and I'm not gonna try to keep living in this place anymore. And I just wanna share that with you guys because you guys have been riding with me through a lot of the baggage here. You guys have been incredible support for me. You guys have been amazing. You're spending your Friday night and we're, you know, popping open the can of therapy. And I don't know, I just want you guys to know I appreciate it. You guys have been like family to me, and that means a lot to me. It means a lot for me to not feel so alone. It's a big deal. Um, but it is time. Let me just say it. Let me give it a it's like it's a big deal. So it's about that time. It is that time to move on. Time to move on. Time to live a life that doesn't revolve around it. And that's okay. I got the healing and I feel concluded here. I'd love obviously to talk a little bit more about Sherry's experience, read her book, talk a little bit more about that, you know, but really this is this neat I want it to be my vision has always been for all of us is like the goal every time is like, okay, we're thugging. We're thugging through. We're still going. We're still going to keep going because there's days where you just don't even want to take your next breath. And I'm just going to be real about it. There's going to be days where you just don't have anything left. And it's like, what is there to live for? What am I doing here? How am I supposed to keep going on and on and on? Right. And it's like, this is the times where we need the encouragement. We need to know we're going to push another day. We're going to push another 30 seconds. We're going to push another minute. And we're just going to we are going to find the light at the end of the tunnel, but we have to be searching for that. We have to be willing to dig and do the work to get to the other side. That's what it is. You have to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to work for your healing sometimes. And I don't want to keep circulating here because it's becoming, at this point, becoming counterproductive. Oh, yeah. We're talking about Sherry Frankie. Sorry. I probably need to say people's names. I'm very bad at that. I need to like preface the fact that I'm talking about someone, because I know what I'm talking about. I need to get better at that. But yeah, time to take a step forward, ladies and gentlemen. So we will continue to do our lives. Nothing in that nature is going to change, but probably just the tone, the things we talk about. Um, if there's something that I feel is needed to conversate about my situation or relate something to it, we will do that. Um, but I think that I think we're ready for this. And it feels good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel a huge weight off of my chest because I feels like I'm I'm not like carrying the burden of like the pains and all the things. Like finally, it really is just like a hey, finally I'm gonna let it breathe. I'm gonna let it breathe. I'm finally just and I feel ready for it. You know, you need a Deadpool behind you. I need a lot of things behind me. I need to get a whole new shelf situation going on. Oh, we're gonna make this look good. We are going to make this look good. Colby, was your mom ever diagnosed with mental illness that you were aware of when you were a young boy? Not trying to be rude with the question. Not that I know of. Not anything official. My grandfather told me we are who we choose to be or who we want to be is a choice. I love that. Love that. Love that. You did all you could. Man, you're gonna make me cry, Norma. Don't you say that to me. I'm like, you guys see Shannon Sharp when he finally left. He finally left his other show. He starts crying. It's a meme, and he goes, "Just know when your head hits the pillow at night, that'll get everything I had." And he's crying. I feel like that right now. I gave it everything I had, guys. You know, I really tried. Really tried with my mom. And I was like, multiple times. Every time I talked to her over the years, about 3 or 4 times total, I just kept this same like trying to save you. I want to save you. I want to fix this. I want to make this better. It's just not for me. But I tried. And I'm glad we did this, guys. I mean, this was a chapter of my life that I never, again, I keep telling you guys this, but it means everything because I did not expect to ever talk about this stuff like this. And here we are. We've been diving through this stuff for months, and this has been very intimate for me. So I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like you guys have been a part of my life in a way that I cannot explain. And so there is like a level of closeness that I feel because I feel like when I open that door, you guys are here and supporting and loving me through that hard time. It continued to give me the confidence and the ability to move forward and go through it and feel my feelings and not shy away from it and just finally breathe through it and then finally let it go. And honestly, I don't know if I could have done this without you guys. I'm not BSing you right now, not playing games. Like, I don't know if I could have done this because I was so scary to relive and visit that crap. You know what I mean? So scary. And I never wanted to. I was cool just being like, nope, we never need to talk about this again. We can move on with our lives and it never needs to be dealt with. I'm cool. I'm just gonna, when the pain comes up, I'll figure it out. Like, it just kind of was like, just keep going. You guys have been a support for me. I appreciate that. I love you guys. I really, really seriously love you guys. I knew this video was going to be hard to do. I knew this video was not something that I didn't know exactly, how to explain to you guys where I'm at mentally, but I do feel ready to take a step forward. I think we're going to do incredible things as a group still. I still believe that there's so many other people's stories that we can highlight and talk more about. I think there are other people that have perspectives of because of, when you go through this stuff, when you go through hard stuff in your life, it's being tested through the fire and you do come out on the other side a different product, you know? So being forged by fire is a big deal because there's things that you learn that you would never have learned had you not faced that. So I believe in my heart, honestly, that there's other people whose stories we're going to be talking about. We're going to be, trying to interview people. That is another big goal of mine, is to have people that we can interview and conversate with, that can give us perspectives and teach us, and we can continue to just apply somebody's years and years and years of going through something hard and being able to articulate that to us, for us to learn lessons that it took them to the brink of their life to learn, you know. So yeah, we got better days ahead. We got better days ahead. And we're all playing the game every day of life, and it's freaking hard. But I got you guys. That's why we're here. We talk about the hard stuff. We talk about some things that you got to do it. You got to do it. And we also got to have fun. You got to have fun too. You got to laugh. I love you too. And you're strong as well. We got to do it though. We got to laugh. We got to have fun. Oh wait, you can't even see the hat the whole time. Can you see? Hold on. Move the mic. Look at the thug behind me wearing his Star Wars podcast hat. Stormtrooper up there. You can't even see it. I didn't even realize you can't see it. I did that as an Easter egg for you. You can't even see it. Now I feel like an idiot. But we will be doing, again, we have a lot of cool things that we've kind of started into, but we're going to go back to. So we'll do some movie nights. We're going to be talking about, again, other people's stories as well. We still have a lot to do. This is not the end. I feel like this is honestly just the beginning of a different part and a different chapter of our lives and what we're going to accomplish and do as a group. And you guys know right here, you guys are the squad. Okay. This is you guys are the OGs. You're stamped. It's forever. You're OGs. You're here and just know that. Just know you're the OGs. I'm telling you right now. But we're going to do some great things. Lastly, I will say this. If I don't know what's going to happen with this trial. Okay. I don't have any more information. I haven't heard anything about this. I have no ins on this. I don't have any information. I don't know if I'm going to have to participate. Okay. I'm just going to lay that out there now so we don't have to really go back and forth on that. It's just because I want you guys to know I do respect you. I know you guys have questions about this stuff. I understand those are questions that you have. I get that. And I want you to understand respectfully that I genuinely don't have any information or know what's going to happen with either one of my mom's trials. And I have no part in it. I think I've seen enough of the antics from her. I think I've had enough of her days in court. And, again, if honestly, it really is about, and I hope you guys do understand and respect this. It's about where my heart is at and what I think is going to come out of these things. If there's something that I feel like is important to at least touch on or even have those conversations, maybe we will. But as of right now, my whole goal is for us to start to completely get away from this because it is no longer serving or going forward or progressing and healing. I'm at a place where I'm unpacking what I need to. And then the rest of it is, hey, leave it alone. Leave it alone. That's where we're at. But I expect nothing more from her in life. I don't want anything from her. I don't want an apology. I don't want her to beg for anything. It's done. We're done. So, and also, guys, just want you to have that understanding, knowing going forward, because this is where we're going to. This is our next pivot out of this. This is our next chapter. We're turning the page, and I would just love for you guys to know that going forward. But it's time for the good days. It's time for things. And again, while we're going through this process, she's gonna be popping up because this trial hasn't even started. We're in for it all over again. But hey, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Anyway, I love you guys very much. I do appreciate you. This is way more than just, for me at least, just comments and stuff. Like, this means a lot to me because you guys have been so loving, so supportive, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. Okay, bottom of my heart. I might even shed a little thug tear for you. So I'm being serious, but I do appreciate you. I love you. I'll keep you guys up to date on the community tab. I'm hoping we can start doing a little bit more, some more live streams throughout the week. It's just really hard at night. But I always will keep our Fridays will be our nights always. And I will let you know if anything changes. If we're not going to have a Friday night, I'll let you know immediately. But I just genuinely thank you guys. I love you. I'm praying for you. I hope the best for you. And thank you for being part of this. Love you guys.